So you want to be ripped? Good, because I know a thing or two about being lean. And I will tell you this, I boiled it down to 5 things. I made a list that you can copy. And if you do, I promise you the same thing will happen for you too. Matter of fact, it's not just me. Everybody that's lean and ripped does exactly these 5 things. Number 1, right here. Perform fasted cardio at least 3 times per week, ideally before 6 a.m. Okay, the earlier, the better. Number 2, include no carb and high carb days twice each week. And that's twice, no more, no less. Number 3, I hope you're writing all these down. Drink 1 teaspoon apple cider vinegar 30 minutes after waking. I'm sure you've probably heard about apple cider vinegar and its benefits 30 minutes after waking, please. Number 4 is a big one. Never eat after 6 p.m. Mom told you that, I'm sure. You should listen to mom. Number 5, all important, number 5. Here we go. Cycle low-dose tren with TRT. If you do, oh wait, hold on, there's one other one here too. Oh, it's a bonus tip.
If you sun your balls, that shows that it does improve androgens.
So sun your balls.
Sun your balls.
Perfect.
Yeah, don't do that. As a matter of fact, don't do anything on this list because none of this stuff is going to get you where you want to be and keep you there. See, guys, I know you've been given some of that advice, actual advice, and maybe followed it to no avail. The reason why is because it's not the actual 5 things that you need to do. And as someone that knows how to get lean, I will share with you exactly what those 5 things are. And if you copy them, I promise you guys, no bullshit. Straight on, this is what you need to do, and it works every single time. And I will tell you right off the bat, there is no ripped person year-round walking around here that diets. They don't. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even belong in their vocabulary. If you want to be lean, maybe even shredded, then the word diet has to go completely by the wayside. And you need to replace it with nutrition. And there's a big difference between the two. Nutrition is how you fuel your body. Nutrition is the food that you put in your body to allow you to perform on a day in, day out basis, maybe even to a higher level if you're an athlete or even just working out in the gym. But you need to think about a long-term approach because diet by its very nature is a temporary status. We always say, I'm going to go on a diet, meaning that at some point you're going to be off of that diet. It's temporary, it's not sustainable. And oftentimes, from a sustainability standpoint, you're opting for things that are deprivation-based. I'm going to remove this from my diet, or I'm going to restrict my time to this time eating each day. They're so far from what you do right now, how are you going to actually sustain that? And the trick about dieting is, whatever method you use to create the weight loss that you get, and I'm not saying that there's not many methods that create lots of weight loss, it's going to be the same method that you're going to need to maintain if you want to maintain that weight loss. So at some point, if you've picked a method that you can't stick with, you go back to eating the way you used to, you're never going to be able to maintain that leanness. Number 2, you have to drink lots of water. And I know it kind of sounds like standard advice, but it's much more than that. Hydrating your body sets the stage to metabolically make this whole process a lot easier. And a lot of us walk around chronically dehydrated. We don't drink enough water throughout the day. I'll ask you right now, how much water do you drink? You probably don't even know. I'll tell you this, it should be about 2/3 of your body weight in ounces. So if you're a 180-pound person, you should be about 120 ounces of water per day. It might sound like a hell of a lot of water, especially if you're not drinking nearly that much right now. So you can become much more conscious about that. And when you do, you start to understand better the difference between even thirst and hunger. Because how many times throughout the day do you kind of think, oh, I'm really hungry, but really it's just thirst. If you drank a bottle of water, you wouldn't feel that way. It also helps to hydrate your muscles. Your muscles require water to perform at their best. And if you want to look your best, ultimately when you get lean, you don't want to just be skinny. This actually leads to our next point. When you're trying to get lean, don't just do cardio. Don't focus on cardio over other forms of exercise. The one thing that you should be focusing on more than anything else is going to be weight training. And I know a lot of us don't do that. When we think about weight loss or being lean and ripped, we think about how much cardio we can do. Believe me, every cardio bout that you have does burn calories, but to such a minuscule amount in the big picture. When you look at the end game, the bigger contributor is going to be how much lean muscle can you put on your body, because that active tissue that you walk around with and carry with you becomes a metabolic furnace. It allows you to ingest more calories per day. It gives you more flexibility. in terms of some more forgiveness, let's say, in terms of what you put in your body, because you have a depot to store those calories. And when you don't carry enough muscle around, it becomes infinitely harder. I'm not saying that cardio is useless. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when it comes to the pursuit of being lean and ripped, nutrition and strength training or weight training are your number 1 and 1A. And they must be there. And too many people skip it. They go to the gym and they jump on a treadmill or they jump on an elliptical and they kind of bypass the weight training. Flip that mentality around. Prioritize weight training at least 3 times a week. Build as much muscle as you can through progressive overload. And don't just focus on strength, because if you become so focused on strength and so in love and infatuated with the numbers of the pounds that you're lifting, sometimes as you get leaner, those pounds will go down just a little bit. You might lose 5%, 10% of your strength as you get leaner. And if you're solely focused on those numbers and hitting those PRs, then you might actually become a little bit depressed as you become leaner. It's not going to work. They don't work together. What I'm saying is focus on building as much strength as possible, but also make sure you have good mind-muscle connection. Make sure you're training with intention, that you're training the muscles that you want to, and that's all incorporated in a more well-rounded training plan, strength training plan, but it has to be there, regardless of which exact plan you're following. Number 4, everybody that's ripped and lean walking around will prioritize their protein. As a matter of fact, the leaner you get and the more towards maintenance calorie levels that you're ingesting, the more that protein becomes important because it helps to preserve the muscle that you've built, right? Even if you get into a slight caloric deficit, the tendency would be to become leaner, you lose some additional muscle at the same time. We don't want that. And people that are ripped and lean year-round understand this and they keep their protein content high. I've given numbers before of 0.7 grams to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. I'm saying when you're working out, stick to around 1 gram per pound of body weight and maintain that. And again, the more you are close to your maintenance level of calories or even slightly below, you must prioritize that protein. And if you're having a hard time doing that, protein powders become very valuable in this case. It's actually one of the main reasons why I created Pro30G, which you can find over at ATHLEAN-X.com, which allows us to get 30 grams of protein per serving. It makes the job of getting enough protein in much, much easier. That being said, if you're just looking at the food on your plate, just do a quick visual. Divide it up. 1/3 of your plate should be allocated towards protein. If you're out at a restaurant and you're looking at the menu items, pick one that's centered around the protein. Like the name of the meal is based around the protein. It's not like adding chicken to your pasta. It's adding pasta to chicken. It's a chicken dish with some pasta on it. Switch it around. Make sure that the main meal consists of protein and you're probably well on your way to meeting that requirement. Next thing, and the big thing is, you have to develop consistency because consistency is what keeps you lean. We all can get lean, but can we get lean and stay there? And I'll tell you this before you start going, God damn it, because that's the place, Jeff, that I struggle. I can't be consistent. That's not true. Ask yourself what bad habit you've been really good at being consistent with over the course of time. You might have more than one. If that's the case, it's not consistency. It's consistency in doing the things that you can't sustain. We all have a tendency to try to become consistent, to fight for consistency in a habit that we have not yet obtained. And the reason for that is because we're picking things that are too daunting. And a lot of times you're focusing on that end goal of losing 50 pounds without first losing 5. Be consistent in the approach that you can follow. And it goes all the way back to that approach to eating, the dieting. Find a way that you can eat, that you can sustain. And I'm not going to argue with you. I don't care if you follow a certain approach that's different than mine. Hell, I have carrot cake once a year. I don't drink alcohol. That is not a requirement for every person to be lean. You do not have to follow exactly what I do to be lean. There are many ways to do this. You have to follow the one that you can sustain and is in line with the things I already said, that they're a healthy eating plan that you can basically eat day in and day out to fuel your body. But consistency is not your problem. Believe me, we are far too consistent with the things that we shouldn't be consistent with. Find something that you can lock in with, and I promise you, you will. And guys, I promise you, no matter what level of body fat you're at right now, it doesn't matter. You can take it all the way down to whatever extreme level you want. I'm not here preaching any one body fat level. I'm saying that you can get much leaner than you are if you follow these 5 rules. As a matter of fact, take these and just simply tear them up because they're not going to help you. All these specific recommendations, they might be the things that you wish worked, but they won't, and the things I just told you will. If you're looking for a complete meal plan, guys, step by step, and a training plan, you can find them over at ATHLEAN-X.com. If you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with someone else that you think could benefit from hearing the same thing. If you haven't done so, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.